Yeah, I think you can start. In the meantime, I'll make him a co-host.
Namo Buddhai, Jai Bhim all. Welcome to online session for Buddha Vihara. And today, our guest speaker is Dr.E.Siva Nagi Reddy. And the topic that he's gonna talk on today is Buddhist sites and monuments in Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Reddy has a very impressive resume for the topic that he's going to cover. Siva Nagi Reddy Imani underwent a 4-year training in traditional sculpture and architecture at Tirupati, had his Master of Arts degree in ancient history, culture, and archaeology from Osmania University, and has been awarded a degree of philosophy, that's PhD in history from Hyderabad Central University. And then he joined government service in Department of Archaeology and Museums in Government of Andhra Pradesh, successfully transplanted more than 100 historical temples and built more than 100 new temples all over Andhra Pradesh as per the Shilpa and Agama Sastra. Participated in many archaeological excavations and took up conservation of select Kakatiya temples in Telangana. He was conferred with the title Vastu Sila Pavachaspati by Padma Shri Dr. V. Ganapati Stapati, received highest award of Kala Ratna from Government of Andhra Pradesh in 2019. He has also served as the director at the National Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Gachibowli, and after his retirement in 2013, joined as director, State Gallery of Art, Madhapur, Hyderabad. Professor Reddy wrote many books, many articles, 100 books, and close to 500 plus articles on history, culture, archaeology, Buddhism, and tourism. And currently he is working as CEO for Flitch India Foundation, formerly the Culture Center for Vijayawada and Amravati, established Mahalakshmi group of companies, had a lot of background for the architecture and Buddhist sites in Andhra Pradesh. So without further ado, I wanted to welcome Dr. Reddy to today's session. His topic is Buddhist sites and monuments in Andhra Pradesh, India. Welcome, sir, and forum is all yours. We will have a question answer session after your talk is done. Welcome.
Sir, good morning, sir. I profusely thank the organizers for giving me a very, very, very nice opportunity. Though I am a very small man, you have given me a very big pedestal on to give an opportunity to speak at the wonderful forum. And to begin my talk, I would like to pay my respectable homage to the Buddha and Bodhisattva Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Venerable monk on the floor available and the respected participants. Sir, though I worked in State Department of Archaeology and stood a very wonderful opportunity to excavate Buddhist sites in North Coastal Andhra and Fanigiri in Telangana state, so that I could know a little bit on what you call the journey of Buddhism as a people's faith. Buddha said, "O monks, go forth for the benefit of the many. Bahujana sukhaya, bahujana hitaya, lokaya, athaya, hitaya ja." So that is, in that path, I could just learn a little bit on Buddhism and the advent of Buddhism to Telugu country with special reference to Andhra Pradesh. Then, how can we establish that the advent of the Buddhism into Andhra during the lifetime of the Buddha, and after Buddha, what happened? How many sites have come up? and the prolific sites that we find along the coast are more than 300 sites, more than 300 sites. It is great number. You all know that Bihar is known as Vihara Desha, where Buddha moved from one place to another place, hence it is called as Buddha's Vihara Desha. Later date became Bihar, but we have more than the Bihar state, we have enough number of sites which are really in good state of flourish, representing the three phases of Buddhism, namely Theravada, then Mahayana, and finally Vajrayana. Now, I would like to make a very humble presentation before the August audience who are well informed, and I will just give, I think my talk may go for 40 minutes. After that, the forum may actually either through chat box or even straight away. What is the, it could be very nice if questions are straight away, so that I will try to clarify to the level of my best knowledge acquired in the field. Yes, may I share it, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think I can share my presentation.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You please help me because yes. Now is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and you can make it a full slide, or you can share it as.
Yeah. I will do it into F5 now. F5. One moment.
Yes, sir.
I think I will make it full. Yeah. Is it full, sir?
Yes, sir. It is good now.
Yes. Now, without wasting your valuable time, that I would straight away go to make my humble presentation before the August audience, who are really very nice people. When you are what to call into this Buddhist field, you are automatically a very nice human being. You are all are very nice human beings like that. Now, the thing is that, yes, now you can look at a map of the undivided Andhra Pradesh, which includes the coastal Andhra, Rayalaseema, and Telangana. Why is that? The division happened only in 2014. Even in historical periods also different, the entire area was never, only during the Satavahana period, it was continuously, that is in 2000 years ago, it was a monolithic cultural identity as the Andhra Desha. After that, during the Satavahana domain. Next to it is during the Kakatiya time only, between the 12th and 14th centuries, again it was under one rule. So I would like to bring to your kind notice that let us discuss as far as what we call the spread of Buddhism in Telugu states, or the location of the important Buddhist sites in Telugu states. So with this background, we can now confine only to the coastal area in the present day, in the present, what we call in the presentation of the current presentation. Next, we will move to Telangana after a month or so. Yes, now kindly look at on the coastal Andhra, northeastern part of Andhra Pradesh, you can see clusters of Buddhist sites. Yes, there is reason for that. Again, you can locate in the northern part of Telangana, there are many sites. Yes, again, there is a reason for that. After that, what happened was, in between the rivers Krishna and Godavari, again Krishna and River Penna, we have got the sites located in huge numbers when compared to Rayalaseema. Rayalaseema also has got 5 or 6 sites, but due to reasons better known that that area is not connected to trade routes, etc., there are very few sites. Now, this is a site for now the what you call the presentation I can share to you, sir. It can be shared by one and all who are participating here. No copyright for this thing, because we have to share at least a little bit of knowledge with us. Yes, these are many number of, only 54 sites are prominently seen, located, made presentable both by both the archaeological departments of the Telugu states as well as tourism departments. When such sites were found in ruins, excavations were conducted by the Britishers and after native scholars. Then again, they were conserved and preserved, then made a little bit of infrastructure development so that tourists can go feel comfortable while they go around the site, look at the stupa, look at the chaitya, look at the vihara, look at the pathways. Then, as a whole, how a Buddhist arama of yesteryears look like. They relate. Oh, in the vihara, acharyas used to stay and give discourses. The stupa, most of the residents of the vihara as well as the householders will come, go around the vihara with folded hands, reciting Triratna, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, like that. They used to go around, take a what you call circumambulation around the Mahastupa. Then again, votive stupas they built to commemorate their visits to these holy sites. And after that, what happened was they also visited Chaityas and many number of such things also. So in this context, I again move to, yes, the real advent of Buddhism into the Andhra Pradesh, or what we call the present day coastal Andhra, or the residual state of Andhra Pradesh after bifurcation in 2014. Yes, advent of Buddhism during the lifetime of Lord Buddha. There are literary references and traditional sources to establish the fact that Buddhism, the advent of Buddhism was during the lifetime of the Buddha. According to one source, when the Buddha, Lord Buddha was at Rajagriha, a group of people from Andhra visited Rajagriha, and in front of the Buddha, they played a small theatrical play enacting the life history of the Buddha. It was there mentioned in Buddhist literature. Then, on the other hand, Bavari of Suttanipata, coming to Telangana part, during the lifetime of the Buddha, there was a Brahmin sage living on an island amidst the river Godavari in the present day Nirmal district of Telangana. He was residing there. He has 16 disciples with them. But another gentleman of another say, one more say, has cursed him. And to know that, according to the story, the only solution is Buddha could give the solution for him. Then he dispatched, because of his old age, he couldn't go. Then he dispatches all his 16 disciples to meet the Buddha at Kapilavastu and Sravasti. Then they start from the present day Nirmal district of Telangana, took route via Vidarbha, Ujjain, Pataliputra, and meet the Buddha at in Magadha region. Then they come to know the Buddha's Dhamma. They stood a chance to listen to Buddha's discourses. Then they, among them, 15 disciples wanted to stay there only, not to come back to again this part of the country. Only one, by name Pingiya, he is again a disciple, one of the 16 disciples. He again came back and gave that Buddha's Dhamma to Bavari. Then Bavari became a convinced Buddhist, and he attained Arhathood also. It happened during the lifetime of the Buddha. And at the same time, what happened was, again, the chief of the Telangana, Assaka Janapada, we have 16 Janapadas. Assaka Janapada is the southernmost, which comprised the southern part of Telangana. Then the capital city was Bodhan, present day Bodhan. And the king, he was very much impressed on Buddha's Dhamma, and he converted into a Buddhist follower. So these two examples from Telangana and another example from Andhras visiting the Buddha. Andhras, they then were known and mentioned in literature as what we call Andhakas. They are known as Andhakas. Like that, these two incidents made us to believe that Buddhism, what we call, spread to either Andhra or Telangana or the Telugu states during the lifetime of the Buddha. Then the truth relic of the Buddha, yes, the Lord passes away. Then there was a war of relics. Again, after that, at the end of the war of the relic, one Brahmin by name Dona, he distributes equally among the 8 republican states. Then he took for himself a small portion. And according to the story, what we call Dalada Vamsha of the Sinhalese Chronicle, or other some sources say that the tooth relic reached Andhra, and there was again what we call lot of demand for it, but ultimately it reached a place called Dantapura. The holy relic of Lord Buddha was enshrined in a Mahastupa called Dantapura, a place named after the holy relic of Lord Buddha, and it is very closely located to Amudalavalsa, very close town of Srikakulam, the district headquarters of northern coastal Andhra. So this is another account. After that, we excavated at Dantapura. Fortunately, I was part of the excavations for 3 field seasons at Dantapura. We will discuss in the succeeding these things slides. Then next, what happened? After that, there is a gap of 150 years. There is silence. We do not have any evidence that what happened to Buddhism, or whether it flourished or discontinued. We do not have any idea. But due to the royal patronage of Asoka the Great, again, what happened during the what we call the second council, he convenes a second council. Then what happens is he dispatches missionaries to as far as Antiochus in what we call the Greek, Macedonian Greek country, then to the Middle East. After that, he also sends to other parts of India. Then at the same time within India also, he dispatches missionaries to Andhra. One Acharya, Buddhist Acharya by name, yes, he comes to he is a Mahatera. He comes to Mahishasaka country, which was identified as the coastal Andhra, and some Sera, I forgot his name, I will tell you. Then that is Asoka's patronage. Along with sending missionaries, Asoka has also took up construction of holy stupas on holy relics, not only at Amaravati Dhanyakataka, at even your Bhattiprolu. We have got Mauryan evidence there. After that, we again have got Salihundam. All these 3 yielded Mauryan evidences we will see during the succeeding sites. Then, during the Buddhism in pre-Satavahana times, we all know after the Mauryas, in Andhra, there were some minor chieftains ruled both in Andhra and Telangana. But who are they? Then that phase is known as pre-Satavahana phase. During the pre-Satavahana phase in Telangana at Kotilingala, it was a Buddhist site. They were known as pre-Satavahana kings. 4 kings were there. In coastal Andhra, we have got a dynasty by name Sadas. They also ruled in the coastal area. They constructed stupas at places called Vadamanu. Then again Amaravati, again at Guntupalli. Like that, what I mean to say is, it was not only the Buddha, Asoka. After Asoka, in the succeeding period, minor chieftains also took to the cause of propagating the Buddha's Dhamma by constructing stupas, erecting viharas, and giving munificent donations to the monasteries. That was the case. Now, come to the Satavahana phase. What is that? 1st century BC to 3rd century AD. It is exactly some 300 years, 250 years. During 250 years, I would like to inform you that none of the royalty were Buddhists. They were Brahmanical, Vedic ritualists. Then what happened to the common people? Most of the common people, including the householders, agriculturists, traders, professional groups, artisanal groups, all these were 100% Buddhist. Hence, Buddhism flourished on its own. It became people's faith, and people's faith became a mandate for the expanding donation to that one. Yes, that is the phase in Satavahana times. After Satavahana times, Ikshvakus, we all know that they ruled from Sri Parvat Vijaypuri, that is known as Nagarjunakonda. Yes, you know, 30 Buddhist monasteries were there. Again, the kings, male persons of the royalty were Vedic Brahmanical followers, whereas the women folk of the royalty, they were ardent Buddhists. They constructed stupas. They developed what we call Buddhist monasteries. They got carved hundreds of panels and encased along the stupas and viharas, and gave many number of donations. So this is a very brief history, what we call up to the 3rd century AD. Next is that, yes, now I would like to give information on what happens is the Buddhism, evolution of Buddhism is 3 phases, that is Theravada. What Theravada? Theravada is actually Theras are elders. Who are those elders? Elders actually lived during the lifetime of the Buddha, and in the succeeding periods, they simply follow what Buddha uttered. They do not want any deviation. They don't want anything to be added to what Buddha said. Hence, these are called elders in Pali, Theras. Hence, the way that they have taken is known as Theravada, just for understanding. After that, what happened? After 100 years of the Buddha's demise, there was actually a division among the Buddhists. Then they were called as Theravadins were very small, and the other who were divided, they were called as Mahasangikas because their number is very great. These Mahasangikas started giving commentaries on the Buddha. It ultimately, in the subsequent centuries, at least from 1st century BC onwards, gave rise to a new faith or a new phase. That is the most dynamic phase in the history of Buddhism, known as what we call Mahayana. Yes, now, before we conclude the part, Theravada system was so systematically what we call done by great scholars like Buddha Ghosha in 4th century AD. He hails from Krishna region of Andhra, and he was invited on invitation, moved to Sri Lanka. He learnt both. He is a great scholar in Sanskrit, Pali, and Sinhalese. He translated the 3 Pitakas, all the discourses divided into 3 baskets. He is in Sutta Nipata, then Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. All the 3 he translated into Sinhalese, and they elected him as a Sanghanayaka. Do you know, a Telugu Buddhist Acharya was elected as Sanghanayaka in Sri Lanka in 5th century AD. He is such a great scholar. He wrote a wonderful book called Visuddhi Magga, that is the path of purification. English translation is by Nanamauli. It deals with the 3 important pillars of Buddhism: Sila, Samadhi, Panna. Yes. Now, the next one, we will go into details in the subsequent Mahayana phase. Oh, as soon as we come to know that Mahayana, there are difference of opinions that it originated and flourished in Gandhara region, in Madhura region, in Amaravati region. It is, yes, there are evidences. But what happens is, whatever the cause may be, he is known, Acharya Nagarjuna, the propounder of Madhyamika philosophy, or the middle path which was propounded by the Buddha was taken up by Acharya Nagarjuna, and he also propagated the Sunyavada, that is what we call the wideness, the theory of wideness. Both the things he excelled in his philosophy, and he is called as second, next to the Buddha, next to the Buddha among the patriarchs of Buddhism. And Acharya Nagarjuna hails from this part of the country. That is, we all know. This is known as Mahayana, wherein what is the change? What is the difference between the Theravada Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism? Is that during the Theravada phase up to 1st century BC, Buddhist monasteries flourished, but Buddha was venerated, worshipped in terms of Buddhist symbols only, not in human form. This is the difference. In Theravada phase, Buddha was worshipped in the form of symbols. What are those symbols? Bodhi tree under which he got enlightened. Then the Vajrasan, where he got steadily like he took what to call a decision like a diamond. Vajra Sankalpa, unless until I am enlightened, I am not going to vacate the seat. Hence the seat which facilitated him to attain Buddhahood, it is known as what we call Vajrasan, at the back side of the what you call Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. Yes, after that, another is that stupa. Stupa is a symbolical representation of the Dhamma, the Buddha, and the Sangha. Hence, stupa was also a symbol. Then Triratnas is a symbol. Then you have got varieties of symbols that Buddha was worshipped. For example, he was also worshipped in the form of a bull, Shakya Vrushabha, a lion, Shakya Simha, an elephant, Gajottama, and he is considered as Lokottara by the Mahayanis, and they conceived the human form for the first time to the Buddha. It simultaneously happened in Madura region of the northwestern frontier of India. What we call is that Gandhara region. In central India, we call it as Madura region, and in southern region, that is the Dhanya Kataka Amaravati region. So, three types of arts also flourished. Yes. Next phase is Vajrayana. What is Vajrayana? More than in Mahayana phase, what happens is Buddhists worshipped Buddha in human form. After and during that phase also, Panchadhyani Buddhas, etc., were also worshipped and created the forms. In Vajrayana, a good number of what we call Buddhist divinities made for the first time their appearance in viharas, sculptures, and creed formulae like many number of even terracottas, many number of ritual creed formulas started appearing on the ceilings, terracotta flakes, in inscriptions, in bronze images, etc. This is known as Vajrayana phase, that is Tantrayana phase, wherein the mysticism also entered into Buddhism. And what is the real meaning of Vajrayana phase? They say in Theravada, only the practitioner will attain the nirvana, that is total relief from the cycle of birth and death. Only for himself he could only achieve. But in Mahayana, no. Along with myself, whom I am striving for what to call to become Bodhisattva, then after that I will become the Buddha. Not only myself, along with myself, I would like to get relieved from the cycle of birth and death, that is Nibbana, for all the living beings along with me. The understanding is widened, the base is widened, hence it is known as Mahayana. What we call it is a Mahayana, the greater vehicle. Then in Vajrayana, what is Vajrayana? Yes, you have got a concept that I should achieve Buddhahood, but it is in a shorter way, shortcut method. What is the shortcut method? They have devised that there are some scriptures, Yoga Tantras, Anuttara Yoga Tantras, that is higher level Yoga Tantras, that I am not going to give all those things. But what happened is, Tibetans believe that the Buddha set the Dhamma into motion for the third time. First time at whatever he learned through his experience, he shared it in the form of Dharmachakra Pravartana at Isipatana in Sarnath. That is the first turning of the wheel of the Buddha. Then the second was sometime in Rajagraha. They say the third time he set Buddha, what we call is Kala Chakra Mula Tantra, is his own discourse in which the what you call the practitioners of Buddhism could attain Samma Sambodhi, that is the enlightenment, in a very shortcut method according to Tibetans. So this is, it all contains the creed formula, rituals, mandalas, that is the diagrams, etc. After that worship, everything has come into force, totally different from Mahayana, totally different from Theravada. And there was no what we call difference between the Brahmanical Tantra and Buddhist Tantra. Like that, people were in a very bit of confusion at that point of time. It flourished from 4th century and continued up to 14th, 15th centuries AD. This is about the three phases, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Yes, now I would like to substantiate my version that Buddhism reached soon during the lifetime. That was according to traditional literary sources. But after that, archaeological sources, what do archaeological sources say? Yes, they say that Buddha's holy tooth relic after his what we call funerary rites, it reached Dantapura. And at Dantapura, there was a very huge stupa. And that stupa was venerated by almost all the people, not only coming from Chaturarya Dikshu Sangha, that is Buddhist monk coming from all the corners, four corners of Jambudvipa. Nowhere it was mentioned as Bharatakanda. It was only Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa was the greater peninsular India, including the neighborhood of the greater Jambudvipa. That is, yes. Now, this is, can you believe, sir? It is very interesting. When we excavated, it was just ruins. It was a just ordinary land was under active cultivation. We convinced the local peasants and took over for excavation. We got 4 stupas, and those bricks are dated to 4th century BC. The antiquities that we recovered attest the fact that they also belong to 4th century BC, basing on the material culture of Nabud ware and northern block polished ware, which is dated to 4th century, 5th century BC. That was also recovered here. And yes, these are some of the archaeological material that we recovered in course of excavations, which attest the fact that it belonged to 4th century BC. Ultimately, it gives us a little bit of clue that it was the original Dantapura. In Mahabharata, it mentioned as Dantavaktunikota. That is a different story. Yes. Now, yeah, as I said, it was the Samrat Asoka. Yes, he was known as Dhammaraja. He was again known as Devanampiya. He was also known as Tiyadasi. Such a great person. Such a great person. Yeah, the world has never produced such a universal monarch. Is none other than Asoka. He was given a name that he will never get Soka to his mother, to his family member, to his subjects. It was the name given by his mother, his second mother, like that. Next one is that, yes, Asoka has sent missionaries. Yes, Mahadeva Bhikkhu. I am sorry, I couldn't remember his name. Venerable Mahadeva Bhikkhu came during the lifetime of Asoka. As per his wish, he came to Andhra and gave discourses, started propagating Buddha's Dhamma, so that Buddhist Dhamma could establish very firmly on entire coast of Andhra as early as 3rd century BC. And the material evidence is Asoka's inscriptions. We have got all the 14 major inscriptions, and again 2 minor inscriptions we found at a place called Yerragudi in Andhra Pradesh, in the present-day Kurnool district. You can see it is a very wonderful place. Please, it is a must-visit site. Then Bhattiprolu, we have got a very huge stupa. For the first time in entire Indian context, holy relics were enshrined in relic caskets. Those were 1 meter square, again 1 meter in height. They look like very huge stones. Now, those were excavated as early as 1870 and 1893, but they were shifted to Chennai Museum, Government, Egmore Museum in Government, Chennai Museum. You can now also see it. These 3 things, Asoka's inscriptions, and then the foundation of stupas at Dhanyakataka, Bhattiprolu, Salihundam, Mahadeva Bhikkhu's visit to Andhra clearly attest the fact that Buddhism received enough patronage from Samrat Asoka. Yes, this is what we call the Asokan edicts at Kurnool, Rajula Mandagiri, and it is a place called Yerragudi and Rajula Mandagiri. Very please, whenever you come next time, kindly visit this place. It is very close. Yes, you can see this is Prakrit inscription and Brahmi script, one uniform, and we are very much thankful to Buddhism that for the first time, it entirely, the entire Jambu Dvipa, the national geography was given by the Buddhism. The national script Brahmi was given by Buddhism. The national language Prakrit was given by Buddhism. There were no divisions in irrespect of Mahajanapadas or small Janapadas or other countries they are called, but the connecting point was the language. The connecting point was Buddha's Dhamma. The connecting point were the movement of Buddhist monks. This was the national fabric for the first time given to India as early as 3rd century BC. Next is that, yes, Asoka. How Asoka looks. Asoka was very simple man. He was seen along with his wives on the architrave of Sanchi. We can see in a later day after Asoka. Only Sungas carved. then it is the image that you are looking at Asoka with his wife, with his retinue, is a sculpture under labeling Raya Asoka. It is a Satavahana inscription. It is a Satavahana sculpture of 2000 years old, recovered from a place called Kanaganahalli in Karnataka. Please visit Kanaganahalli also. Then, yes, as I said earlier, Buddhism has a strong foundation at Dhanyakataka Amaravati. Amaravati was the name given by Raja Vasireddy Venkatadri Naidu in 1797 only, but earlier it is known as Dhanyakataka. Afterwards, Britishers propagated it as Amaravati, Amaravati Stupa, Amaravati sculpture, Amaravati art. Like that, it became Dhanyakataka Amaravati, finally Amaravati. And you find, if you go to British Museum, London, most of the beautiful 120 slabs are in a particular gallery called gallery number 33. It is called as Amaravati Gallery in British Museum, London, where thousands of people from all over the world will come, enjoy, appreciate, learn the Buddha's Dhamma through the Amaravati School of Art. Yes, here, kindly look at the stupa. Once upon a time, it was actually 100 feet high, 200 feet wide, and embellished with Buddhist culture and renovated under the supervision of Acharya Nagarjuna according to the history of Buddhism by Lama Taranada, which was written in 16th century AD. He mentions that Dhanyakataka Stupa during the Satavahana phase was enlarged and embellished with sculpture under the direct supervision of Acharya Nagarjuna. And he was contemporary to Gautamiputra Satakarni. We all know him. There was a film in Telugu, Gautamiputra Satakarni. Like that, we can connect some of the places. Yes, this is Mahastupa. And one more interesting thing is, on the right side, you can notice a well-polished Amaravati Stupa. That polished Amaravati Stupa is that what we call Asokan Brahmi inscription, and the polish is Mauryan, like that. So it was actually, it confirms Asoka's foundation, and there is Mauryan inscription also. Sir, నేను ఒక జూమ్ టాక్ లో ఉన్నాను సార్, అమెరికన్ జూమ్ టాక్ లో. సార్ చెప్పండి సార్, తొందరగా చెప్పండి ప్లీజ్. అది తెలియదు సార్, ఎవరు తెలియదు, అది అసలు లేవు, అవి అక్కడెక్కడ ఉన్నాయి తెలియదండి, అది తెలియదు, అది దానికి మాకు కనెక్షన్ లేదు సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఓన్లీ 4000 BC నియోలిథిక్ స్టోన్ టూల్స్ అంతవరకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, నేను టాక్ ఇస్తున్నాను సార్. ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్లీ సారీ. That was a query from local press. Yes, this is the thing. Next one is, yes, now you can see, during the succeeding phases of Satavahana, it was again decorated under the supervision of Acharya Nagarjuna, that we come across many such stupas. But here, can you notice, this is of the Mauryan script. Asokan script is there. And what is there? The model of the stupa. All around there is a raining. There are flags. There is a Bodhi Vruksha Prasada. The Bodhi tree was also encased with a railing, and it was venerated by people. It is mentioned as Bodhi Vruksha Prasada. So it clearly attests the fact that Asoka's support was there at Dhanyakataka. Yes, next, it is very again interesting. Rock cut architecture for the first time for the Buddhist and Ajivaka monks began in Nagarjuna Hills in very close to Bodh Gaya. But similar architecture at the same time in 3rd century BC, we have got rock-cut Buddhist caves of the Theravada phase at Guntupalli, very close to Elur. Elur is now a district. So you can see now, what is beautiful. They are forerunners of your Ajanta caves. It is 3rd century BC in Andhra Pradesh. Art and art, yes, this is so panoramic view. They selected the cliff, and the cliff was converted by removing the moss into beautiful caves, which were decorated with architraves. This is a very interesting thing. Again, you have got one more stupa, which is look like your Lomashi Rishi cave in Bodh Gaya. Then inside the cave, the entire roof is covered with rafters, as we will have the carpenter's work. That is the, yes, again you have got Chitya with stupa. There are many votive stupas at Guntupalli, 2nd century BC to which continued up to 10th century AD. Then these are some of the antiquities recovered from Guntupalli, which attest the fact that no, it is not my saying. It is said by the antiquities that it belongs to 2nd century BC and continued up to 8th century AD. This is again Bhattiprolu. Yes, now most of the people who read the articles on Bhattiprolu that it is dated to 3rd century BC according to relic casket inscription. And if you go there, this is the present state of affair, which started excavating it in 1870, continued in many times, both Britishers and native scholars, and now most of the sculptures and relic caskets are in again there. Yes, can you notice? These are the relic casket inscriptions. 6 relic casket inscriptions were brought. Beautiful relic caskets were there. Within the casket, you have got golden leaves, then golden flowers, coral reef, then little bit of the holy corporeal remains of the Buddha. There was a huge celebration while it was enshrined. The inscription reads, yes, these are some of the biggest relic caskets so far discovered in entire Indian context. They are in Chennai Museum. Yes, these are crystal caskets. Can you notice? Manikaras, they are called as Manikaras. They are available at this thing. And this is Dhanyakataka in 2nd century AD, Satavahanas. And we also got relic caskets, 10 relic caskets from Dhanyakataka. All are with holy relics of Lord Buddha. We have got an inscription called Vara Parigahatasa, Jina. Buddha was also considered as Jina, who conquered what we call all the defilements. Hence he is called as Jina, not only the Jains. These are the relic caskets recovered from Dhanyakataka Amaravati over a period of time. Yes, now we are looking at only no glorious past of the Amaravati Stupa, but only 1 meter. That is also brick lining, no sculptures, etc. But the Britishers have conjectured a view of Amaravati Stupa. It looks like this. It is hemispherical. There was at the bottom a course of sculptures. At the middle, there is a band. After that, there is a floral garden. After that, there is a box-like thing called Harmika. At the center of the Harmika, you have got a post which holds Chhatra, that is Perazul, he is universal monarch, and all around you have got stone railing, and stone railing has also got its own protocol of architecture and art. Then a unique feature of Dhanyakataka Stupa and in Andhra and Karnataka is that we have got 4 platforms. I think you might be noticing 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 pillars at the center on all the 4 cardinal directions. These 5 pillars are symbolically representing the nativity, Janma, Janana of Siddhartha, then the departure, Mahavinishkramana of Siddhartha, then he becoming the Buddha, that is Samma Sambodhi, then the first discourse, Dhammachakra Pravartana, then Mahapari Nirvana, the great demise of the Buddha. It is confined only to Andhra, Telangana, and Karnataka only. Yes, what is on the railing? Railing also has got its great significance. Based on the sculptures of the railing only, we got distinction of Amaravati School of Art as the first plastic art of India, which is comparable to whatever we call, whether to Rome or Greek, whatever it may be, which flourished between 1st century BC and 3rd century AD. This is the railing portion. Yes, we also got beautiful images of the Buddha. Though broken, some are full. You can now see it has also got some characteristic features for Buddha image that 32 Mahapurusha Lakshanas, 32 great signs of the Buddha. What are those? I will now reveal for the benefit of the audience that he has got in between the eyebrows, there is a tilak-like thing. It is not tilak. It is known as Urna. What is that Urna? Buddha, since he is a great man, the hair, the white hair will form like a round bindu. That is what we call Urna. Then Lamba Karnata, his ears are so long. Lamba Karnata. Then Dakshinavruta Kesha. On the top you can see the hairs are curled towards right, Dakshinavruta Kesha. On the top you have got cranial protuberance. It is known as Ushnisha. Only for greater people you can find that protuberance on the head. It is known as Unhisa or Ushnisha. These are what we call the great Mahavurusha Lakshanas. Another thing, Chattari Aviraladantata. We have 32 teeth, but the Buddha has 40 teeth without any gap in between. Sattari Aviraladantata. That is, these are some of the Buddha, what we call. Yes, you can see such a beautiful figure. And these are what we call upright pillars. and roundels in between. This is part of a railing. And in the roundel, what a beautiful sculptures that they depict the life of the Buddha, right from Siddhartha to Buddha, that is Siddhartha Gautama. After that is that this is holy relics. Holy relics are being worshipped by Nagas and gods and goddesses. You see, such a great dedication to worship the holy relics of Lord Buddha after his demise. There are 33 images with symmetry, beauty, whatnot, frontal, side, backside, 3D, even 4D. Can we imagine? It was 1st century AD. It excels in almost all the art forms of the world. Hence, Amaravati School of Art has got the distinction of the very first plastic art of the world. Next is that there are, yes, like what you call it, these are panels. Within 1.5 feet, can you see, there are 4 panels. One is that Maya Devi getting a dream that she is going to give birth to the Buddha, little Buddha. Then after that, she is giving delivery while en route to his mother's house. Next one is that what we call baby ke liye. They are seeing the forecast, etc. What happens is, due to what we call during the absence of literature available to each and every person, these will tell the stories of the Buddha, his journey, his life. It is what we call dissemination of knowledge. Yes, this is the stupa. These are panels encased along the stupa. Yes, now we can see. Yes, there is a railing, there is an entrance. Entrance is decorated with lines. There are 5 Aika pillars which denote all the 5 great events of Siddhartha Gautama. Then the stupa is fully decorated with the sculptures depicting the life and mission of the Buddha, the Jaska stories, the contemporary lifestyle. Again, you see such a beautiful in mature phase of Amaravati School of Art. Is it possible for the present day world level sculptors to depict, to even to copy? I copy is also not possible for the present day world class sculptors. Yes, yes, I am not exaggerating. You see, what an intricate artwork, the embellishments, etc. are there, the grandeur of sculpture. Yes, again, vertical panels were also there. This is Siddhartha Gautama departing from his house. It is a wonderful story. The next to it is the day before he wants to decide to move out of his house, his father sends. He calls all the 16 Miss Universes, what we call Janapada Kalyanis from 16 Janapadas, beautiful women. He asked them to dance, gave them wine, nothing. Musicians came, dancers came, but the steadfastness of the decision of Siddhartha to know the truth for the suffering of the people and living beings, never impacted by the temporary enjoyment. He took a firm decision, not impacted by all these things, and moved from his house. These are some of the panels that we come across, and this is actually the departure. As I said earlier, this is symbolical representation of Siddhartha. Mahavishkarmana, no Buddha is seen, no Siddhartha is seen. This is Theravada phase. Next is that, yes, this is Mahayana phase where Siddhartha in human form is seen, Mahayana phase. Next is that, yes, Siddhartha comes. This is a wonderful story. If I am stuck here, I cannot move forward, but only 40 minutes I can complete. Sir, allow me. Only one story I will reveal.
No, yes, sir, please take your time, sir. You have time. Don't worry about the 40 minutes.
Am I moving very fast like a train on the railway bridge of Rajamandri, sir? Rail come road bridge mein rail jata na, both speed.
No, sir, you can take all the time, sir. We have time. Please continue, sir.
Yes.
We are enjoying
am I really very speed that not able to give what we call time to understand? Yes. Now, this is a wonderful panel, a roundel. What is there? The Buddha is there. Again, Yasodhara is there. His son Rahula is there. What is it? It is what we call Punaragamana. The Buddha, after his departure, he becomes Buddha after 6 years. Then the next year, his father requests him, my dear Buddha, please come and visit. Take alms from our house. Why are you going and begging in the streets? Why are you going visiting many places? No, please come and stay with us. He says, no, I am Viragi, that is detached from the family relations, detached from what we call everything. Assets, possessions, everything. Now, I will visit as and time comes. Then he came to Kapilavastu and Siddha, everybody is decorating their houses. Streets are well decorated. Now, all with great, what we call, great joy that they are decorating. And this little boy, Rahula, he never seen his father. He was a very small kid. When he was kid, late night, he moved away for Mahavinishkramana. He never came back. Na? This boy becomes 7-year-old. And he comes to know that why the city of Kapilavastu is being decorated like anything. What is going to happen? People say that the Buddha is coming. Who is the Buddha? You go and ask your mother. He comes to his mother. Mother, the city is being decorated like anything. Why? And when I asked people, they say that, oh, the Buddha is coming. And who is Buddha? Buddha, Rahula, Buddha is your father. My father, my father. Oh, I am going to see my father. Yeah. How will he look? How he looks, ma'am? Please tell me. Rahula, your father is uncomparable. He is a great man, Pudgala. He is great among the men, great among the lions. He is known as a Narasiha. What is a Narasiha? He is a lion among the human beings, Narasiha. She utters the qualities of the Buddha that is known as Narasiha Gadha, the qualities of the Buddha. What a wonderful description, so that as soon as he sees this Buddha, he knows that he is his father. Such a description she has given. It is known as what we call Punaragamana. Such a beautiful sculpture at Amaravati. The same is you can find in Ajanta paintings also. Yes, there are again the day before. Yes, Siddhartha was there. All the women were there around. He never. Yes, you can see what a beautiful Amaravati school of art. I do not have any. Yes, Buddhapada. Yes, as I said, Buddhapada was also one of the venerable objects as symbolic worship of the Buddha. The Buddha is the prince of the Buddha. If the Buddha was walking, there will happen that Buddha's prints, these Buddha prints, and the central spoke, it has 1,000 spokes. Then again, Ashtamangala symbols, 8 auspicious symbols are there. What are they, it takes a lot of time and moving forward. Next is that Buddhist art. Oh, what a wonderful Buddhist art. You can just look at the bull. That bull is dated to 1st century AD, 2000 years old bull. What a beautiful bull. We have another bull from Indus Valley civilization. That is the symbol of National Dairy Development Corporation. But more than that, so dynamic, so beautiful, and so aesthetic. This represents the later day Ongolu bull. Ongolu Jati bull bolte na, that is from Andhra. That has got international patent. This is the bull which was decorated with enormous ornamentation with Buddhist symbols that were recovered in bits and pieces and was mounted in 1981 for Krishna Pushkaras. So there are many stories to tell. Yes, what happened in Amaravati? After the Vishnu Satavahanas, it was the Ikshvakus that they also extended their support. After that, what happened? It received a serious setback. There is no patronage. Brahmanism was on a high tide, and Buddhism was not at all cared. No patronage, and maintenance was not there in the monasteries. What happens? These Buddhist monks started moving wherever they get little bit support. So the Amaravati Dhanyakataka Stupa was deserted. At the same point of time in 639 AD, a great Buddhist monk by name Huangswang, Zhuang we call, he came. Via, he mentions Dhanakachaka. In Dhanakachaka, by the time he arrives, he says, in the schools, Suhruleka written by Acharya Nagarjuna was a non-detailed text. Can we imagine? Such a beautiful place. Then, yes, I noticed that 100 temples are in deserted, and the multi-story temples are in ruins, and there are monasteries wherein there were 100 teachers, 1,000 students. Earlier it was 10,000, earlier it was 1,000, and now the number has come down. So which says that the slow decline of Buddhism at Amaravati by 7th century. The Vajrayana phase, we also have got Vajrayana images of 8th century AD, little bit. Then these are the Vajrayana images recovered from Dhanyakataka Stupa. The third phase of Buddhism, Vajrayana phase, was also flourished here. Then this is Tara, now in British Museum, London. Yes, Can you notice? If I say, some people may misunderstand. What is it? It is that the central stupa, the linga of Amareswara temple, now in Amaravati, it is a Shaivite temple, one of the 5 Pancharamas. It is 14 feet high. It is none other than the 5 Ayaka pillars of the Buddhism. It was brought from there and they constructed and used in Hindu temple. I am sorry if I hurt feelings of the others. It is a fact. Yes, there is an inscription of 1182 AD. This inscription was issued by one lady by name Kota Bayamba. She says that in the inscription you can see Buddha image is there. Buddha image is there, 1182 AD, which gives a clear idea that Buddhism flourished up to 12th century AD at Amaravati. It says that Amaravati in Dhanyakataka, there is Shambhu temple. At the same time, there is Buddha's shrine. Both are flourishing. And it mentions, kindly underline, it mentions, Stupam Atyunnatam Nana Chitra Suchitritam. The Buddhist stupa is Atyunnatam. We have to see like this, the grandeur of the stupa, which is 100 feet high, known as the Mount of the Lands. Atyunnatam Nana Chitra Suchitritam. It was by the time 12th century AD, it was encased with beautiful sculptural panels all around up to the top. It says, I am not telling. Yes, next is that there is only one inscription from Sri Lanka, which says it is dated to 1344 AD. It says that Savira Dharmakirti has come all the way from Sri Lanka to renovate the dilapidated 2-storied house of the Buddha at Dhanyakataka. Can you notice? Nobody is bothered in this part of the country. A Buddhist monk from Sri Lanka has come with his own money. He stood there, supervised the renovation of the work and left. And we got this inscription from Sri Lanka, which is dated 1344 AD. This is the last evidence of Buddhism flourishing at Dhanyakataka. Next is that, yes, we have got many number of Buddhist sites in North Coastal Andhra. Moved to that Totlakonda, Bavikonda, Pavaralakonda, all the 3 were there. I was one of the team members of excavators between 1987 to 2001. Yes, these are some of the ruins that where we, after clearing away the debris, we find the remains of stupa, the remains of Chaitya, the remains of Vihara, all those things. Yes, this is again Bavikonda, where we got Buddha's holy relics in gold. 5 golden relic caskets were there, kept in terracotta, kept in again, that terracotta receptacle was kept in copper, then that was kept in silver, that was kept again in stone, that was kept in mud, like that. They took every care. Yes, these are some of the relic caskets that we got from Bavikonda. It was in 1995 we recovered, and there is a collarbone of the Buddha. They say it is collarbone of the Buddha. It is now in Telangana State Museum in Hyderabad. Next is that, oh, what a wonderful panoramic view of Salihundam, which dates back to 3rd century BC on the right bank of river Vamsadhara in Srikakulam district. It is known as Salihundam. Salihundam is that heap of rice. That is again, yes, you can use notice. It is an aerial view of the very beautiful vast expanse of the Vihara with varieties of structures built during the Mauryan time, Satavahana time, Ikshvaku time, and continued up to the 14th century AD. This is the beautiful view, and the river waters of Vamsadhara are very fast to meet the sea. Yes, these are some of the Vajrayana sculptures that were recovered from Salihundam, 14th century AD, Marichi, Akshobhya, Avalokiteswara, many such Tara was also there, like that. This is a Marichi sculpture. Can you notice that the Varishan impact is there? You have got Lalitagiri, Ratnagiri, and Kandagiri, which are known as the golden triangle of the Buddhism. Yes, you can also see the same Marichi you find in Ratnagiri. We also have got here also. Yes, very interesting thing. That is, Buddhist stupa was used as foundation for a Shaivite temple. They don't know it was a stupa. When we excavated, we got that stupa. By that time, the villagers has built a Shiva temple on that. Now what can we do? We are continuing because Buddhism has got that much patience of coexistence of all the religions. In Asoka, he said that let all religions flourish. Don't hate other religions as you are loving one religion. So Buddhism has got that what to call cultural harmony, religious harmony, patience to the core, everything. Yes, this is again Kalingapatnam, where it was a port city. Most of the people from here, the Buddhist monks have traveled from here, people traveled from here, and traders traveled from here. This is there you find a beautiful what we call lamp stand, that is lighthouse is there. This is Kalingapatnam. Yes, one more important site in Srikakulam district, Vijayanagaram district, is that Ramatirtham. Yes, later day it was named as Ramatirtham. We all know that what happened in history, that most of the sites lost their names and existence also. So you see, there is a Buddhist Sila Mandapa, there is a Chaitya, there is a Vihara, there are Buddhist images. All those, yes, can you say that this is not Buddhist remain? Yes, Buddhist remain, but it is called as Ramatirtha. Yes, nothing worry. Yes, there is Pauralakonda is there. It is in Visakhapatnam district. We have got rock cut systems, and this is the whole entire thing. This is Bavikonda. This is actually, we have reconstructed the existing structures to give the present visitors how the Buddhist Vihara looks like on the coast. The crescentic, what we call is, we call as creek in Visakhapatnam. Yes, we recovered Satavahana coins, even Roman gold coin also we have got, and Buddha Pada slab is there. There are many such. This is Pavaralkonda. Yes, just on the hill of the Bhimanipatnam. Yes, this is a Dutch building. When we excavated all around the Dutch building, we got an extensive Buddhist establishment. Can you notice that this is a Chaitya? This is again a Totlakonda. Can you notice that the people were not for the Buddhist celebration? They are celebrating as Lingalametta. That is, Linga is Sivalinga. Almost all the stupas, they call it as Sivalinga, because lack of education or proper understanding among the people. This is on Sivaratri day, not on Buddha Jayanti day. Now, there is an awareness among the Buddhist society of the coastal Andhra. They have now started launching their own programs on celebrating some calendar events, so that people come to know that this is not Lingala Metta. Yes, you see, all these are rock cut stupas. People call it as Linga, Sivalinga. So that is a misnomer. Oh, what a wonderful extensive Buddhist site. Vihara is also located on the top of the hill. We have got many such things. Next is Kapavaram. Next is again Ghantasala. You all know that Ghantasala is a wonderful site where you have got a stupa, there is a museum. These two important sculptures, one is Dharmachakra and the Buddha. These are in Lore Museum, Paris, international. Every day, lakhs of people are visiting the Buddha image and the Dharmachakra from taken from Ghantasala. Ghantasala was a wonderful site, very close to seaport. Then, yes, Jagaipeta, again, in Buddhist literature, the Buddha was said that whether he becomes a spiritual leader, he becomes a universal spiritual leader. If he becomes a king, he becomes a universal monarch, Chakravarti. Chakravarti, what is Chakravarti? Sapta Ratanani Samanvitam Chakravarti Samyutam. What is that? The Chakravarti, the emperor, is surrounded by 7 jewels. What are they? He, his wife, his minister, his treasurer, his horse, his elephant, his treasure, his flag, all are the 7. Saptaratanani. This is the only such sculpture comes from Jagaipeta. It is very close to Vijayawada. Please visit that site. Oh, again, we have got a very beautiful, biggest stupa as far as South India is concerned at Chandavaram. That is, again, it was built during 2nd century BC and continued up to 4th century AD. There were hundreds of sculptural panels there. Can you notice? I am there lamenting that Buddhist panels are used as foundation for a Saivite temple. They were just removed because they are available on free of cost. They were just used as a plinth course of a Saivite temple. The local Saivite temple's name is called what you call some Bhogeswara temple. So it is a clear-cut evidence that now I convinced the people. They started, when we renovate, we will remove them and again get back to the stupa. Such are many cases in Andhra. Yes, this is again one more the stupa in Rayalaseema. Rayalaseema, they say Huyan mentions that it is a Cholia country, but there was also little Buddhism, and it is at a place called Adapur or Nandalur, where natural rock shelters were used as what you call residential retreats of the Buddhist monks, and there were series of stupas constructed from lower level to upper level on terraces. This is the only one site in Rayalaseema. Next is that, yes, you have got Annamacharya, 80 feet Annamacharya statue is there, Talapaka. The native place of Talapaka Annamacharya is actually a Buddhist site. Can you notice there is remains of a stupa? This is again very interesting. Again, very close to Maidukuru, there is a place called Naganadunikona, that is a Brahmanical temple, where we have got 3 feet 3 inches Buddha Padas. Clear-cut evidence of that the site belongs to Buddhism. Yes. Again, you have got this Nagarjuna Konda. What a wonderful place named after such a great Buddhist philosopher, and who what we call professed that Madhyamika philosophy is Acharya Nagarjuna. And this is the Mahastupa at Nagarjuna, which was built by Adavi Shantisri, the royal woman of the Ikshvaku dynasty. The city was known as the city of victory, Sri Parvata Vijaypuri, where Acharya Nagarjuna spent his last phase of life and composed what we call Prajna Paramita Hridaya Shastra, Chatustava, Mola Madhyamika Karika, Sunyata Saptati. Like that, he composed Vigraha Vyavartani. Many such books he has composed only at Nagarjuna Konda. It was mentioned only from 13th century onwards. Nagarjuna Konda was mentioned in inscriptions. Otherwise, local people call it as Nagarjuna Konda. Yes, you have got Simhala Vihara. Do you know what happened was, during the 3rd century AD, monks from Sri Lanka are coming by foot from sea coast to here, that is nearly 180 kilometers. They are coming by foot, and they are staying under the sun and rain. One lady, wife of a navigator, his name is Mahanavika, his wife is Bodhisiri. You see, Bodhisiri, Siri means Lakshmi, Bodhi means enlightenment. So, with Buddhism, she was called as Bodhisiri, and she has got enormous wealth. She said that no use of money without giving for charity. Then she started giving money to construct Buddhist viharas, Sila Mandapas, and many things. And she only saw, and oh, these monks have come from Sri Lanka, are under the sun and rain. No, can't I do something for them? She built a Vihara called Singala Vihara, Sri Lanka Vihara. For them in 3rd century AD, there is an inscription. You see, the famous Nagarjuna Konda sculpture was her donation. It is 9 feet 3 inches, such a beautiful image we nowhere come across in entire Indian context. Then there is a Sila Mandapa, there is a Stupa Chaitya, Buddha Chaitya. This is Simhala Vihara, 3rd century. Yes, what a beautiful image, 9 feet 3 inches. With reflecting the Mahapurusha Lakshanas are the great characteristic features of the great men. What a wonderful sculpture in Amaravati mature phase. Yes, again you have got beautiful sculptures from Nagarjuna Konda, varieties of Buddha sculptures, varieties of Buddhist missionary. Then we have got again relic caskets from Nagarjuna Konda. Then Aduru. In coastal Andhra, we have got again only one in near Amalapuram, a place called Aduru, which is very, very, very Shatavahana and Ikshvaku phase. Then only one in entire Indian context, you have got 4-storied Buddhist rock-cut cave temple, 4-storied. You have got Tintal in Ajanta, but we have got 4 stories. The unique feature, it is dated from 1st century to 4th century AD, wherein this entire area was used as retreat for the Buddhist monks during the rainy season. Buddha said during the rainy season, my dear monks, don't move, because if you tread on during the rainy season, the slowly the vegetation starts coming, the living organs started moving, and your pressure of treading of your foot may cause to end their life. Please don't move. Confine only to caves or interiors of the viharas. Only householders will get you alms. That were during that 4-month season, they start reciting Buddhist suttas, then preparing medicines to give away to the society. Then they counsel the villagers if there is misunderstanding among the wife and husband, among the people, brother and sister, like that, they counsel. It is all our misconception. The ego, jealous, everything, anger, all that we only create. We only give scope them to rise. Please don't allow them to rise. When it is in incipient stage, remove it. This such type of counseling was given by the Buddhist monk so that the people will be so happy. When we are happy, not money, even the poor man is also happy. When he doesn't have this jealous, greed, cravery, etc., he will be very happy. Yes, this is wonderful. Yes, nowadays wherever we go, hundreds of new Buddhist sites are coming. This is at Potlagudem in, yes, it is in Achampeta area. Yes, very recently we got, there was a cave of 1st century AD, but this cave was not at all noticed, not at all reported. You can see now the sad state of its maintenance. It was me, I went there, took the local member of legislative assembly, then sir, see, it is considered as Kanakadurga temple. It is not at all true. Let the temple also continues, but it is a Buddhist site. Please see that it is maintained properly. And yes, again, one more Kanakadurga temple is there. Backside of that temple, we found a Buddhist stupa in Vijayawada, Mughal Rajpuram. There are many such stories. Yes, again, there is a, while laying a road, a beautiful life-size image of Amitabha Buddha. It is known as Amitabha Buddha. That Amitabha Buddha, black granite stone dated to 12th century AD, was recovered from a road. It was buried wantonly during the period when decline of Buddhism. It was us to what we call enlighten the local people. It belongs to the Buddha. Yes, again in a Shiva temple, Naga Musulinda is worshipped as Nagaraja of the Hindu faith. They go and feed the milk. It doesn't take, but they go on feeding milk. That is the, since I went there and said that, my dear fellows, please respect, continue your worship, continue worshipping the serpent. This serpent is none other than the serpent called Musulinda, which protected the Buddha before he becomes enlightenment. When the Indra, god of the gods, caused a heavy rain that this man shall not get enlightened, it protected him, and successfully Siddhartha becomes Buddha with its aim. Hence, you see, please continue worship. I say like that because we shall not play with the sentiments of the local people. Can you notice? It is a Shiva temple and this is a Buddhist pillar. And in 7th, 8th century AD, all the dilapidated structures were used for appropriation, misappropriation. Yes, can you notice? Every day some cranes used to leave their excreta on this thing. This is none other than a Buddhist pillar, Ayaka pillar. It was in the tank of at Chebrolu. Chebrolu was originally a Buddhist site. Later it became one of the like Pancharamas. Yes, this is on a roadside. There is Amitabha Buddha is there, earth-touching posture, new for them Andhra areas. It was upside down. It was me who has made like this, and people started. It belongs to 9th century AD. They constructed a pedestal and erected it on pedestal. Now, yes, again in Kondavidu, while we are dismantling a temple for reconstruction, it is our wonder that we have got a Buddhist stupa remains underneath a Shaivite temple. Yes, again, we got Buddha and Narayana from Mangalgiri area. Yes, now I would like to conclude my talk saying that one of the inscriptions of Vishnu Kundins at Tumalagudam, it says that Sarva Sattvanam Nikila Dukhopasemanam. Sarva Sattvanam, for all the living beings, the only thing that can remove the suffering, Dukkha Upasemana, it relieves you. What is that? Buddha's Dhamma. But a wonderful sloka from a copper plate inscription of Vikramendra Bhattaraka Varma from Tumalagudem. It is very interesting. Next is that, yes, we also have got again Amitabha Buddha from Kuntur in Nellore district. Sriharikota Space Center is there. Na? Next to Sriharikota is a Buddhist site. And he is worshipped as Shiva. Can you notice? All the horizontal signs are there. Na? They worship him as Shiva. They don't know that it is Buddha. Buddha in the form of Amitabha, one of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, like that. It happened. Again, one more Amitabha Buddha from island, Pulikat Island. There is a beautiful Buddha image. It is again they worship as Shiva in yogic posture. So now we started enlightening the people, sensitizing the people that we have got a very wonderful heritage of the Buddha and Buddhism, the Dhamma, which made all people equanimous. As Ambedkar, but Baba Sahib Ambedkar said that education, equanimity, and democracy, all the 3 principles were enunciated, propagated, saw that the entire society lives in harmony. That is none other than Buddhism. That is the great legacy of the heritage that was given by none other than the Buddha, and followed by Samrat Asoka, followed by Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Thank you so much.
Much sadhuvat to you, Dr. Reddy. Thank you very much. This has been a very enlightening session. And although you were rushed for time, we appreciate you taking the time and taking the topic. We will allow questions now, sir.
Yes, sir, please. With pleasure.
Yeah, we will make it interactive, sir. So those who have on the call, we will allow them to raise their hand and ask the question.
Yes,
Mahesh, sir, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, sir. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya, Jai Bhim.
Sir, wonderful presentation, sir. Really like
Thank
it.
you,
And
sir.
the slide you put together in the historical presence and with the explanation, it's an awesome job, sir. And we are very fortunate to have you here today.
No, it is a great chance for
because
me. Even I am thankful to you.
And the history you written, sir, that is been displayed worldwide, and we are going to share with a lot of members here. The one question I have here, sir, regarding the Tirupati Balaji, there are some books we came across.
Yes.
Dr. Jamnadaji wrote that book, and it became very controversial. But there are still there are a lot of thought process going on. So, what is your thought on that historical place?
Sir, in one thing, what happens is we shall not become emotional in giving a statement which will really impact the sentiments of many people on one side. I myself only told you, sir, many of the temples were converted into this thing that happened in historical past. But here coming to Tirupati, what the feeling is, many of the scholars hold that it was birthplace of Dharmakirti in 8th century AD. Dharmakirti is such a great Buddhist scholar, na? You all know that right from what you call your Ashwaghosha, Asanga, Vasubandhu, then Acharya Nagarjuna, Buddha Palita, Buddha Ghosha, then this man, Bhava Viveka, last one is Dharmakirti. Dharmakirti lived in 8th century. Most of the people believe that he hails from Tirupati, hence it is a Buddhist site. Up to that point of time, there is no controversial up to 8th century AD. But the Venkateswara temple, which has got its foundation only from 10th century AD onwards, is a separate stream. It is a separate stream. We shall not combine both the things together, and it leads us to what we call, as you said rightly, difference of opinions. So I mean to say, to conclude, that it was a place during 8th century AD, home place of Dharmakirti, such a great Buddhist logician and philosopher. Then, after 2 centuries, Tiruvengadam or Tirumala or Tirupati, the new city of the Vaishnava faith, has started emerging, and it became abode of Lord Venkateswara. And for the first time, only one such evidence comes from Pallava inscription that one lady by name Samavai got the Tiruvengadam temple renovated in 9th, 10th centuries only. So we shall not go into more details emotionally. We are not getting any gains. So let us confine. Yes, Tirupati, pre-Venkateswara temple period, belongs to Buddhism.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Your next question is coming from Satyanath ji. Satyanath ji, please ask your question. And Go ahead, sir. One question to each. We have a lot of raised hands. Satyanath ji,
No
please go
problem.
ahead with your question.
Yeah, well, I hope you would allow me a little, the interactive questions, small questions.
Please, sir.
You mentioned about, first of all, Jai Bhim and Namo Buddhaya.
Jai Bhim,
And
Namo Buddhaya, sir. I would like to take a sip of water. Please permit me.
sure, please.
Yes, sir, I finished.
Okay, so you mentioned about Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana.
Yes, yes.
Where does Hinayana fit in that?
No, thing is that, sir, what happened was earlier, the Mahasangikas only called it as Theravada as a Hinayana. Then it is Mahayana to distinguish from themselves. But it gives a derogatory meaning. Hinayana bole to, Hina means Nicha, that is very low in profile. So in 1956, there happened a 6th Buddhist Council in Myanmar. They decided from hereafter onwards, we shall not use the word Hinayana. We should replace that word with Theravada. So then the three phases of Buddhism are called as Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. These Mahasankhas only called Theravadins as Hinayanists. So it doesn't look nice, na? With a wider understanding, it was welcomed by the world Buddhist community. Yes, let us confine to Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana.
So what is the significant difference between these three?
Yes. First, Theravada, as I mentioned earlier, it is actually a way in which the group of people or the monks or the laity is followers. They follow the Buddha Vachana as it is. No difference, no addition, no commentary, no deviation from. Yes, for example, Buddha said that you can possess, Buddhist monk can possess 8 things. What are those? Those are called as Ashtaparikaras. One is that Trichivara, the clothes, 3 types of clothes that the monks wear. That is Antaravasaka, the underwear, the Uttarasanga, that is the upperwear. The last one more overcoat is called as Sanghati. These 3 are called Trichivara, 3 cloths, 3. Then Patta, that is begging bowl, arms, sir, that is number 4 ho gaya. Number 5 is needle. Why needle? Because Buddhist monks are not supposed to have their own new clothes. They should be collected from the rags and cut them properly, then stitch it, and then they have to wear, because they do not want any specific focus for Nam and Roop. My name, Siva Nagi Reddy. If I take Buddhism, my name will be changed. I will be given a name called Sangha Rakshita, Sasana Rakshita, like that. My name will be changed because Nam Roop, Nam change ho gaya, Roop bhi change ho gaya. Earlier I have curly hair, I have all these things. Now clean shaven. Nothing is there now. All the Buddhist monks look alike. All the Buddhist monks wear the same clothes. All the Buddhist monks will go for alms. This is the thing that they enunciated in this thing. Yes. These Ashtaparikaras mein, one more is they should have that cloth ke liye one holder and one water strainer is there. So these are Ashtaparikaras, not more than that. So it is for all the 3 phases. But what happened? Over a period of time, there occurred a dispute between the Theravadins and Mahasangikas. That is 10 vastus, Dashavatuni, 10 types of parikaras, 2 more. Salt can also be held, because somebody told. No, it is not allowed according to Buddha. Some people said Buddha during his lifetime he told, but over a period of time change is the law of life. We want to introduce even you can carry salt. Then there occurred a division. So what I mean to say is, Theravadins are the very first phase of monks. They want to continue follow what Buddha said in letter and spirit. Then Mahasangikas, who again gave a new lease of life to Buddhism, they are called as Mahayanists. They said that they are confined only to only oneself. That nirvana is only for himself. But here, for all the living beings, here we share the merit accrued over good things. Here we worship the Buddha in the form of human. And here we will offer dhupa, deepa, all those things for Buddha. Like that, what happens? There is a sudden change in the rituals of liturgy. Then what happened? Lot of change. Buddha is worshipped here in the human form. There was no. So these are some of the changes that they occurred, sir. Then the third phase is that no, you don't confine only to Buddha himself. There are other gods and goddesses are there. There is a mandala worship. You can have all sorts of these tantric rituals into your faith. Please, you have disciple and shishya. There is a what we call a system in which knowledge is shared from shishya to guru. Like that, they have created a new phase of life on par with the tantric practices of Saivites and Shaktites. So hence there is no difference between. It is known as Vajrayana, Tantrayana, Mantrayana. So all sorts of what we call the morality was lost. This is the third phase. Hence, it was one of the factors that triggered for decay of Buddhism from India, like that they say. These are the three different differences between all the three Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Next, sir.
So chronologically, can you say when did Mahayana start? And
Yes.
when
I will say Theravada began during the lifetime of the Buddha, and it took firm roots immediately after the death of the Buddha. And from 3rd century AD onwards, what happened? There is a schism, that is a division. And from 1st century BC, Mahayanism started in 1st century BC and ascended in 1st century AD. Sir, that is the difference. Theravada continued up to 1st century AD. From 1st century AD, new current has come into Buddhist faith known as Mahayanism, and Mahayanism continued. 4th century AD, Vajrayana phase started with another way of life. So what I mean to say is Theravada continued even till today. Mahayana continued even still today. Vajrayana continued in Tibet, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar and other. Myanmar is purely Theravada country. Sri Lanka, both Theravada and Mahayana. Again, if you go to Nepal, all the three are available. Tibet, only two are available, Mahayana and Tantrism. Like that, what happens was, sometimes it is overlapping, sometimes it is continuity. If you give a line, Theravada has a long line, Mahayana little bit of line, Theravada further little bit of line. So these are the chronological orders in terms of from 5th century BC, Theravada began, continued up to 14th, 15th, even till today. Mahayana began in 1st century AD, continued even till today. Vajrayana began in 4th century AD, continued even till today. Sometimes in only one monastery, all the three phases flourished. Like that. Even Nagarjunakonda, you take two things, Theravada and Mahayana, both flourished simultaneously. Amaravati, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all the three flourished. Like that.
What about China, Japan, Korea?
Yes. Sir, I will tell you, Japan only by Kasyapa Matanga, he is a Buddhist scholar who moved for the first time into China. He only took Buddhist Dhamma. But in 4th century AD, Kumarajiva, a Kusian, a son of a Kusian prince and some other country on Upper Silk Road, he became an ardent Buddhist monk, and he was invited by the Chinese chief, and he wrote all the scriptures translated into Chinese. Most of the Acharya Nagarjuna's works, Acharya Nagarjuna was known to the world through the writings of Kumarajiva. That Kumarajiva was responsible for spreading of Buddhism in 4th century AD in China. Up to that point, sporadic occurrences of moving of Buddhist monks, no prominent structures were there. All over Dunhuang caves and many more Buddhist sites flourished from 4th century AD onwards only. That is one case. Again to your South Korea. South Korea, there was one princess which really received the what we call seventh sense wala Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma from Kanchi. He was a princess, but converted into Buddhism. He started moving in the sea. Then what happened? He was carrying along with him Tripitakas. The local Brahmin community attacked him on the boat. So there was no other go except himself to protect himself. So he resorted within small space of time, raising up, moving in one corner, another corner. That what we call the martial art was born by Bodhidharma while he was moving from Kanchi to what we call China. From China, he moved to Korea. From Korea, he moved to Japan. That is the way. In 6th century, South Korea received Buddhism. In the same century, Japan also received Buddhism, but it took its different routes. Sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mahayana or
So, Athinaji, this is your last question, sir. Go ahead.
okay. So is China, Japan, and Korea closer to Mahayana or Vajrayana or Theravada?
It is a very interesting question. What happened was they also knew Theravada, but the popular faith was Mahayana because life-size images, more than life-size images, multi-number of Buddhist images, Buddhist paintings, Buddhist, all those are Mahayana only up to 4th, 5th century, up to 7th, 8th century. But some Vajrayana elements were also there alongside, flourished up to what we call medieval ages in Japan, China and Japan, all these countries. So again, I will repeat for clarity, is that Theravadam was also there. They knew what Theravada principles say. There are a few monks continued to be in the path of the Theravada Buddhism. Then Mahayana was the predominant popular culture that flourished and spread across in time and space in China, Korea, and Japan. But in Japan, what happens was a new type of Neo-Buddhism has come over there. That is, they gave importance not to the rituals, but to meditation and martial arts. Through that thing, they want to attain Nibbana. Hence, it is known as Zen philosophy. That Zen has come from Chan. Chan has come from Dhyan. Dhyan is nothing but your meditation, which is known as Vipassana Bhavana, looking yourself into the mirror of yourself, find the defilements and cleanse them, looking into yourself, start living better, furthermore better from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and finally you become the Arhant.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, your next question comes from Dhananjay. Dhananjay, sir, please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Dhananjay
Thank
sir
you.
is from Telugu?
No, sir. I am staying over here in Columbus, Indiana, but my siblings live in Hyderabad, so so that's the thing. So, sir, thank you so much for taking the time and giving us the information on the rich history of.
Pleasure for me.
Yes, sir. So thank you for giving us the information on the rich history of Buddhism through the sites in the region of Telangana. So I have one small question, like, are those all sites from Telangana only, or does those sites includes Andhra Pradesh as well?
No, both have, sir. I have written 2 books. I will show and share. That is Buddhism in Telangana. For example, just I will show you. This is that Buddhist archaeology. I think it is not visible, no?
Yes, sir. But anyway, sir, please, can you please?
In Andhra Pradesh, Buddhist archaeology in Telangana. We have got enough sites in both the states, but more prominently, number of sites excel in Andhra. But some 40 sites are there in Telangana. More than 250 sites are there in Andhra.
Yes. So thank you so much, sir. Can you please give more information on this book, and where are these available on
that
the
is actually,
websites?
So far I have written a few books. One is that called Buddhist circuits of Andhra Pradesh, in which the Telangana circuits are also included. Then Buddhist archaeology in Andhra Pradesh, when such researches began, excavations began, how many sites were there in the beginning, how many sites were added over a period of time, what were their historical consequences, etc. That is Buddhist archaeology in Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, same is the case with Telangana. Telangana also have got beautiful sites and phases. So I wrote a book on Buddhist archaeology in Telangana. Then another book called, I have one among the 4 authors, is that Buddhist inscriptions of Andhra Pradesh, wherein we have got 503 Buddhist inscriptions here. Prakrit, Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada, all those are there. Copper plates, stone, terracotta, like that. So these are some of the books. And again, Buddhist heritage of Andhra Pradesh, again I have written a book. Like that, there are books written by me. I am not a great scholar in Buddhism. One shall not say like that. I am still in the path of learning. And one word before I conclude, I say, there was actually one Buddhist monk, and that Buddhist monk became so egoistic that he was not caring even senior monks, and says that I knew much. And most of the senior monks in the Vihara said that monk has become so egoistic, he is not caring the seniors, which is a rule of Vinaya. And the news reaches the Buddha. Buddha one day asked him, please follow me. And that monk followed the Buddha. They were crossing a forest, and that forest was in summer. Lot of piled up all the fallen leaves, which are dry, they are fallen on the floor of the forest. It is to what we call a meter's height. Then he was passing through. Then Buddha asked, my dear Samanera or monk, please collect as many leaves as you could do within your hand and show me how many are there. That man could pick up a handful, and he said handful. Then how many are there? There are many. Yes. My dear monk, please know that there is a lot to learn, little that you have learned. So in that sense, I know a little, there is a lot to learn.
Oh, great. Thanks for this enlightening story, sir. Thank you. And I just want to know, where can we get the books written by you?
It is actually, sir, Department of Archaeology, but I will try to send what we call the PDF copies. That would be very easy. Keep on our mail or WhatsApp. I will send to our what we call Mesh Ramji doctors, both doctors.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll try to distribute here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Anyone, at least one Telugu man from your group?
Yes, sir. Your next question is coming from Professor Jagannath Ji. Jagannath Ji is from Bengaluru. So Jagannath sir, please go ahead with your question, sir.
Sir, Nenu Jagannatha.
Oh, Ramana Alladu, sir. Nanu Jagannatha.
Mysore nunchi. Sir, Kulika Trek and Sirikota chala information icharu. Mana question kodiga general undi. I'm sorry, I want in English.
No, please ask in English because for the benefit of others.
Reddy Garu, my question is very simple. So, Reddy, please see. The United Nations is failing. Almost it's becoming 1-year war. Russia and Ukraine. All over the world, you find the rich countries are fueling a lot of arms so that the youths are fighting and everything. Yes. Taking Buddhist vision as a linking for all the world from Alaska to New Zealand was a Buddhist phenomenon. See, my question is very simple. Is it not correct? Is it not correct that we followers of Buddha's vision and Ambedkar's cognition on the world and endangered people, and is it not the right time that the Buddhist and the Ambedkar perceptions of the world come out as a substitution for the United Nations? See what is happening? This I have read somewhere. Buddha can be the community conscience, not consciousness. Conscience Capability to decide between right and wrong is conscience.
Hmm.
See, when an individual gets into mindfulness, and when he can say no to hatred, no to non-vinya, no to selfishness, or when he starts asserting, is it not possible that at some stage, because the compulsions are very serious, climate change, disasters, pandemics, simply the life is endangered. When you don't have earth, where can you take the life and put it on? So my simple question is it not advisable now that all of us who believe in Buddha, Ambedkar, take a serious note that global leadership is required. Global leadership is required by all the Buddhists and followers of Ambedkar, so that humanity can say we are one people on one earth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a very, 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 very pertinent question, and you have got answer in it that I would like to again bring back a small story by the Buddha, not story, experience of the Buddha. Buddha, whatever he wanted to say, he says in a very polite way, that subtle way, it is known as what we call skill in means, Upaya Kausalya. He has got skill in means of telling things so that people will automatically follow, not dictation. And when there was a small war between two tribes on river, sharing of river water of Rohini, he said, my dear fellows, why are you quarreling? We are quarreling for war. Why war? The other tribe is not allowing us to utilize the water. Then what do you say? How can we allow them? Because it is our share. Now, if you go on arguing like this or fighting like this, what happens? Yes, we want to wage war. What is the result of the war? War results that we want to kill the entire people. Then they say, yes, what is your opinion? We also want to kill the other people. So, what is going to happen? The river will be flowing with blood. Will you raise the crops with blood or water? Then they say, both the parties say, no, my dear Buddha, we need water only, not blood. Then he says, don't wage war. You will kill these people will kill that people, and blood will flowing. Then I will give you a solution. For this year, you utilize the water of Rohini. For the next year, you utilize the water. They really seeded the entire dispute. That is what we call the middle path. Middle path is the only way out for what we call the social evils, the what we call greediness, and again Iran and Russia and what is the other country? They are warring now. And UNESCO can resort to again take the message of the Buddha, which best assured is the peace, through missionary jails, counseling, etc. only. I will agree. Even Ambedkar, he was insulted many a time that he was not given a chance to listen to his whatever he wanted to say. In spite of that, he never left from his mission. He has got that forbearance to the core. He withheld all discomforts within himself as a middle path, and finally saw that this I want, and it happened. Everything, whatever he wanted, it happened over a period of time. But what we need is that patience, forbearance, what we call Shanti. That is one of the Shat Paramitas is Shanti, that is patience. So I sincerely agree with you that if United Nations can take Buddha's message, there will not be any discontentment, wars, and again heated exchanges between nations, etc.
And ANA and Boston Study Group and 40 plus organizations all over the world who believe in Buddhism and Ambedkar, cognition, should make pressures so that the sensible people within the UN start appreciating the Buddha, and that could make a big difference. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, before I take one more, I wanted to get a question from the chat. So there is a question here that Kunthuru Buddha looks like Samadhi Buddha from Anuradhapura. Are there any studies on historical, cultural connection between?
Sir, actually, Panchadhyani Buddhas we call na. Akshobhya, Amitabha, then Vairochana, like that. All the Panchajani Buddhas, they have got different positions. This Dhyana Buddha, he is known as Amitabha, Dhyana. Akshobhya is that earth touching. Wherever you go, this is standard iconography of the images. As you said, I also visited Anuradhapura Samadhi Buddha. It belongs to 5th, 6th century AD. But here, this Kuntur Buddha belongs to 12th century AD during the Chola regime. Even in Tamil Nadu, you have got similar statues at many places in entire Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. The next question comes from Vivek Sawan. Vivek, sir, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya, sir. It was a wonderful presentation, and you brought a lot of information, something that is it will take quite a time for us to understand. And your work is pretty great. I'm going back, maybe political question, try not to make it, but it may lead just a slight bit there, being you worked in the government, in the archaeology, and there's so much evidence that you put forward, to world to recognize, and even for that matter, the Indian government and the Indian people to understand. Yeah, so to what extent, when there's so much of a information that you provided, and this is with the government of India, and for that matter, the government of, because you work for the government of India. So why there's so much apathy from the Indian people or the Indian government to highlight such a rich heritage of India that is there? Why there's so much of a showcasing of some other, the part of the Hindu religious practices, dominating over the Buddhism, when there's so much rich heritage that you are portraying, which has so much evidences that you dig a ground and you find a Buddha.
Yes,
this is happening almost throughout the India. It's not just
even in Ayodhya you have got.
Exactly. So my question back to you is, why you as a government ex-employee, and your work, why the government is not taking such paying attention to these issues?
Sir, it's really a very not difficult, easy, but also a complex question. That government, you all know that it is led by BJP. It has got its own manifesto to propagate, promote Hinduism and Hindutva. And there are two types of religions in India, or philosophies or streams. One is Vedic and another is, we cannot call it as anti-Vedic, it is non-Vedic. Vedic, non-Vedic. Vedic is who believe in the existence of Creator God is one thing, atheists. And on the other side, atheists are rationalists who do not believe in the existence of Creator God, and they belong to what we call non-Vedic religion, that is Charvaka, Ajivaka, then Lokayata, Buddhism, Jainism, and so on and so forth. So what happened was, over a period of time in historical past, there was tides sometimes up of the Vaishnavism, revival of Buddhism, revival of Brahmanism, like that. From Gupta period onwards, thoroughly change was there. So due to economic, socio and political reasons, Buddhism received patronage. Then again, it received a serious setback of not receiving patronage and declining. You please, I would like to suggest a small book called The Decline of Buddhism in India by D.C. Ahir. He's a wonderful, he has written. And finally, I am coming to answer the query is that the government's main agenda is to propagate Hinduism and Hindutva. Then, but on the other hand, Ministry of Culture, there is a provision for minorities, that is not minority in the sense, not Muslims, etc., or Christians, etc., for Buddhism. There is actually specific program for supporting Buddhist culture in India, but it is not properly brought to the notice of all the Buddhist establishments in India. It is not at all happening. So we also approach it from our side here, from BSI and from our side. We approached Kishan Reddy ji, why can't you establish or form one national board for Buddhist heritage? He said he received our application, said that I will bring to the notice of the government. but we really don't know what is happening. Even recent International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, recently it was held in Delhi, in which it was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister, wherein he said that Buddhism is the only way out for equanimity, removal of the misunderstandings, etc. He only said in the public meeting amidst the Buddhist ones, general diplomats, etc., from almost all the countries. So I will now refrain from going further to that.
Thank you very much, sir. So your next question is coming from Sunil Patil. Sunil, please go ahead.
Namo Buddhaya Jai Bhim, sir. Na peru Sunil. Chala thank you మీరు వచ్చినందుకు. I mean
Sunil Patil
చాలా నేర్చుకున్నాం.
కర్ణాటక ఓటరా?
లేదండి, నేను నాగ్పూర్, బట్ నేను పుట్టింది ఒంగోలు.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so just thank you చెప్దామని just wanted to say thanks.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
ఒక క్వశ్చన్ సార్, మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ లో మోన్యుమెంట్స్, బుద్ధిస్ట్ మోన్యుమెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయని చెప్పారు కదా, సో మీరు అలా మిగతా సౌత్ ఇండియన్ స్టేట్స్ లో ఏమన్నా వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారా?
I have another presentation on Telangana, another presentation on Tamil Nadu. I have got time being.
Okay.
If you want, I can make a presentation on Karnataka, Odisha, etc. Also, we can spread across over a period of time. Give me once in a month, and then I can move once in a month, because not on a regular basis, it will be boring you.
Okay.
We will definitely have you over, sir, again. I definitely would like to understand Odisha history, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka history as well.
Definitely.
So we will definitely invite you again.
Thank you, sir. Buddhism in Kerala. Do you know that Buddhism in Kerala was written for some 1950 May? It was written by P.C. Alexander, who was actually governor of Maharashtra, then advisor to Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He wrote a book called Buddhism in Kerala. Like that, many people were impacted by Buddhism. They like Buddhism.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I do not see any more questions on the call. Let me see if there are anything into the chat window that I missed. Yes, there is one more question, sir. Do you use...
Mahesh ji is raising hand. Mahesh,
yes, yeah. Mahesh, please go ahead with your question, Mahesh.
Sir, you mentioned that, of course, the Telangana and Andhra has a great heritage of the Buddhism, but we don't see the people from the Telangana and Andhra is interacting with our Buddhism, like in Maharashtrian, like so.
Yes.
Sir, if you have contacts, sir, please share, and we will connect with them.
Yes. One thing is that, sir, since 1956 October 14th, when Navadiksha Bhumi, Baba Saheb Ambedkar made 6 lakh people to embrace Buddhism, there was a change in the scenario, in the mindset of what we call in Maharashtra. Then they were continuously following, the number is growing, and wide reading of books on Buddhism, then Ambedkarism, etc. It is on a very large scale. Every year it is increasing scale. But nowadays, what happens was, for the past 10 years, there is interaction between Nagpur and Hyderabad, Nagpur and Telangana towns. Many people, we know, we have developed a what we call Buddhavanam. Wonderful. In Telangana, it comes. Very huge stupa, 100 feet high, 200 feet wide, like a replica of Amravati stupa. Every day, Maharashtra people are visiting and coming every day. So now there is connectivity, there is interaction between Maharashtra and Telangana. Slowly, that BSI, what we call Buddhist Bauddha Mahasabha. Bauddha Mahasabha is there, Buddhist Society of India. That Buddhist Society of India, established by Ambedkar, now is growing like anything, sir. In village, town, city, everywhere. Now in the recent past, we expect again on a greater scale that it will increase furthermore.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You have one more question here. The question is on the archaeological surveys. Do you use ultrasound-based technology for archaeological surveys like the one done in Sarnath and Bodh Gaya?
No, sir. We at the moment what happens was both the departments in Andhra and Telangana are very poor, but we do not get enough funds. Whatever we want to do in a year, just due to lack of paucity of funds, made us to take up in traditional manner only, not to procure any scientific material which costs a lot. We are not at all given scope for procurement.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I see a couple of more questions. One is asking for a chronological order of Vedic period, Vaishnavism and Buddhism.
Yes. Vedic chronology, most of the people believe that around 1100 BC or 1000 BC, based on that it was, though practical evidence is not forthcoming, only literary evidence. And some people try to establish that painted graveyard culture of the Gangetic Valley coinciding with Vedic. Then afterwards, 8th century BC is what we call the turmoil in India. There was social unrest. And as a result, to come out with a solution, both Mahavira and Buddha have resorted to lead two important movements against superstitions. Then it continued. I would like to say that 1000 BC is the desideratum of beginning of Vedic culture. Later Vedic culture continued up to 8th century BC. And after that, what happened is this rationalistic approach of Buddhism, Jainism, and other religions began in 6th century BC. Then what happens was either Buddhism or Vaishnavism, they are only after 500 years of these religions, 1st century BC. Prior to 1st century BC, except little interpolations in Kautilya's Sarvashastra and other texts, no evidence we have. 1st century BC is the beginning of Vedic gods appearing on scene and temples began to be built. Earlier only stupas and chaityas, that is there. Then Vaishnavism was not there in the beginning. It was known as Vasudeva cult and Panchavira cult. That is a different stream within Vaishnavism, which ultimately they lost their significance, and Vishnu started like an iconic figure who has got some 24 forms, then Vishwaroop, etc. And after that, he was given a unique place, that sustainer of the Trinity. Then Shiva, always like a poor god, he also made his appearance first time in what we call 1st century BC. And Shaivism continued. It was the predominant religion when compared to Buddhism. Next to Buddhism, Shaivism was there. And it also has got its own journey. Ultimately, it came, but it was more predominantly from 4th century AD onwards, both Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and Shaktism. Under the revival of Buddhism from 4th century AD onwards, it took a massive scale to spread across literature, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Shiva Puranas, etc. That is on one hand. Like other hand, constructing temples, so that the ideology will percolate down to the grassroots level. They succeeded, and Buddhism started waning out. Jainism started waning out. Like that. There are many such historical incidents. Then again, to sustain these religions, militancy has entered into Shaivism and Vaishnavism. Veerashaivism, Veera Vaishnavism has come from 11th century, 12th century onwards. So different phases are there in each and every religion, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I do not see any more questions. We would like to conclude for today's session. I wanted to thank first and foremostly our guest speaker today, Dr.
10 o'clock, 2 hours, non-stop.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it has been 2 hours, and we all thoroughly enjoyed the presentation and the question answers that you did today, sir. Thank you very much. We are grateful, and we would definitely like to invite you again to talk on either Karnataka or maybe Orissa, Tamil Nadu, So all the try to understand the Buddhist history, heritage, culture in that part of the India as well. So we'll definitely invite you a few more times on the call, sir. And I also wanted to thank early on to Kranti Tai to help run the session, kids story session, and to Kabir for reading us a very wonderful story before we went on to the next session. So next week we will be meeting again. Next week is going to be most of the ANA team would be in the retreat. We celebrate Ambedkar Jayanti, Phule Jayanti, and Buddha Purnima or Buddha Jayanti together as a get together. And so most of the team would be there. But on online Vihara, we will be doing 2 sessions together. One would be a Dhamma Desna by Bhante Stivali, followed by the recitation of Tipitaka Sutta from the Samanvaya Seva Samiti with Rajesh Chandra. So those are the 2 sessions we'll be running next week. So until we meet again, I just wanted to thank everybody one more time, and we will see you again, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all the participants, and convey my regards to Dr. Mrs. What we call Madam Haina Sheeta.
Yeah, Sheetal Meshram. Yeah, I'll convey.
Yes,
She's my wife, sir, so I'll convey it to her. Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
So do you come across inscription similar to the one from
Mohenjo-daro.
one from
Mohenjo-daro.
Mohenjo-daro, there are those inscriptions were known as pictographs and so far no, not at all deciphered. Similar ones we do not find anywhere in this thing because that is a separate culture ended and it came up to only Rajasthan area only and upper Maharashtra in the post that is post Harappan site what we call. Down south we have got totally new cultures, Zorve culture, then what we call Yanamgam culture, Neolithic culture, megalithic culture, early historic. So there is abruptly discontinuity from Harappan civilization. So there is no chance of getting similar inscriptions in other parts of the country.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking that last question as well. So with that, we would like to conclude today's session.
Thank you.
We will meet again next week.
Jai Bhim. Namo Buddhaya.
Jai Bhim to all.